What's up, Tailgaters? You're in the booth with Tailgate Nate today. Welcome to my channel. Week 6 predictions are starting today. Hey, I meant to get this video and one more video that you'll also see later today out yesterday. Just got really busy and kind of taking a little bit of a mental health day, if I'm being honest, but it's okay. I'm fine. Let's talk about Week 6 predictions. Oklahoma and Texas, the Red River Rivalry. Always a very fun, always a very fascinating matchup. For the Oklahoma Sooners, you'd probably like to forget what happened last year, but also use it as motivation to beat the Texas Longhorns, a team that ranks inside a lot of people's top 5 and inside a lot of people's college football playoff bracket, including my own. We'll dive into the preview prediction in just a little bit, but before we dive into it, just want to say thank you guys so much for the support on the channel. All the support the channel has seen as of late. Continue to show your support. Hit the subscribe button, ring the bell so you know when videos get uploaded, but there are more ways than that to help me support this channel. You guys are doing one of them right now just by watching this video, and you guys gladly can do more if you're willing and able to by liking, commenting, sharing, and anything else you guys are willing and are able to do to help me support my channel. But enough about that, enough about me, enough about the business. Let's talk college football. Red River, one of the premier rivalries across the country. You got Oklahoma, you got Texas. And the last time that we're going to see the Red River Rivalry be a Big 12 showdown, at least for the very near future, as both of these teams are heading off towards the SEC. Both of these teams are trending like the two best teams in the Big 12, and we get them right here in Week 6. Ooh, should be an interesting one to watch. Let's dive into the statistics that both of these teams have put up so far this season. We will start with the Oklahoma Sooners. They are the visiting team. Let's start out with this Oklahoma offense because it is humming. It is cruising. This is an Oklahoma offense that just looks fantastic right now. And Dillon Gabriel, my oh my, Dillon Gabriel might be at his best ever. We'll talk more about that later, but 1,593 yards, 15 touchdowns to only 2 interceptions on 75, a little bit over 75% completion percentage, and that's not all that the offense is doing, right? Dillon Gabriel is playing really well. Yes, this is a rushing attack that maybe you'd like to see get a little bit better. You do have guys like Marcus Major, Tawee Walker, and Javonte Barnes that are leading this team rushing. However, the team as a whole only averaging 4 yards per carry. But again, this is a team that hasn't really needed the run game that much. It's really been an attack through the air, right, with Dillon Gabriel and with this amazing group of wide receivers, former Michigan Wolverine Anthony Jaleel Farouk, Nick Anderson, Drake Stoops, Jaden Gibson. They're all over 100 yards receiving so far this season, and they all have played really well. But the offense is also doing some other really good things. You look at the second column there of offensive stats. They're converting the third down opportunities. They're holding on to the football. They do not turn the football over, and sacks. They are not letting opposing defenses get to Dillon Gabriel. Now, this is going to be the best defensive front this offensive line will have faced so far this season, but for what they've done so far, they've done a really nice job. Now, let's flip over to this Oklahoma defense, to which, guys, if you remember the defensive master classes that Brent Venables and the Clemson Tigers of old would put on, I mean, that's exactly what we're seeing with Oklahoma here so far this season. Now, albeit it hasn't been pretty at times, but I don't believe Oklahoma has allowed an opponent to score more than 20 points so far this year. A huge turnaround from last year, 10.8 points per game, just over 300 yards per game, 319 yards per game. Their third down defense is impeccable. They're generating some pretty solid pressure to opposing quarterbacks, and they're forcing turnovers here. You have 3 guys on this roster with 2 picks. Those are going to be defensive backs, Key Lawrence, also going to be defensive back in Gentry Williams, and Billy Bowman. All 3 of those guys, 2 picks. You also do have another defensive back there with Peyton Bowen, who has 4 passes defended. Your leading tackler has 49 tackles, almost 10 tackles per game. Danny Stutzman, this is the defense that's really turning around, playing really well. Let's talk about this Texas offense here, though, because this is a Longhorn offense that, well, you know the story, right? Quinn Ewers is playing out of his mind, 1,358 yards, 10 touchdowns, 1 pick, at around 66% completion percentage. Yes, there have been some struggles here and there, but for the most part, he's looked really good. Hey, Jonathan Brooks, how about him at running back? He's really come along. He's really separated himself as the premier running back in this running back room. And even though there's no Bijan Robinson, there's no Roshan Johnson, guys, this offense is still providing holes for the running backs to be able to work, especially guys by the likes of Jonathan Brooks. Now, would like to see them limit a little bit more pressure, but they have faced some pretty nice pass rushers so far this year, including the likes of the Alabama Crimson Tide. But this is an offense that's also not turning the football over. It's very, very disciplined offensively. And this Texas offense is humming. It's working really, really well. 36 points per game. Sure, maybe not as well as the Oklahoma offense is working, right? The Oklahoma offense is very dynamic. Texas has got big play ability too with this amazing group of wide receivers. Worthy, Mitchell, Sanders, Whittington. Have only seen one catch out of Isaiah Nayer this year. Who knows when he becomes a big factor there as well. But moving over to the Texas defense here, the thing about the Texas defense specifically, and yes, it's been a Texas thing, but I think it's more so been a Texas defense thing than anything, playing down to the level of competition. They have not done that yet this year. They are impeccable on third downs. They are generating pressure to opposing quarterbacks, averaging 2.6 sacks per game. They're only allowing teams to score 12.8 points per game, under 300 yards per game, and it all starts with this stout defensive front, right? There are so many great players on this defensive front. Byron Murphy being one of those players. He's the leader there on the team with 2.5 sacks. Ethan Burke has 2 of his own. Anthony Hill, a linebacker, has 2 of his own. And David Benda, a sack and a half for him. There's a ton of other great talent. Your leading tackler there is Jalen Ford, 32 tackles. He's a linebacker, part of that defensive front that is just playing really, really well. This is the Texas pass rush that's going to be very disruptive all year long, and they're going to make Dillon Gabriel work for every single yard. But it leads me into my keys for the game, what to watch for, just some things I think you should keep an eye on or keep in mind while you are watching this game. And these, again, all come from me. Dillon Gabriel, I've said this before in this video, but he may be at his best ever. And I'm talking better than he played at UCF, and definitely much better than what Dillon Gabriel played last year. Again, he's almost at 1,600 yards through 5 games. That just is a remarkable, remarkable number. He's playing absolutely out of his mind. He has a lot of great weapons around him. Now, the offensive line is definitely going to have to be careful here because of this Texas defensive front and the pressure that they can provide. Gabriel may have to use his legs a little bit to create, but Dillon Gabriel playing really, really well. Watch for that to continue here in this game. Moving over to the Oklahoma defensive side, the defense, I think, is going to struggle early on. I really think they're going to struggle to figure out this Quinn Ewers attack and maybe struggle a little bit to slow down Jonathan Brooks. And it really wouldn't surprise me to see Texas jump out to a 14-0 lead here in this game, but the defense is going to settle in. This is an Oklahoma defense that has put together some very nice performances so far this season, and it is going to need to come in handy here in this game. It's going to need to buckle in and settle in probably pretty fast here. Now, again, it is going to struggle, but I do believe it will settle in fairly quickly. The big key for Oklahoma this year, though, win the turnover battle and control the momentum. This is the Red River Rivalry we're talking about here. Momentum shifts happen all the time. If Oklahoma can get the momentum on their side and keep it on their side, much like what Texas was able to do last year, hey, that's just the way that Red River goes. You're going to have a pretty decent shot to win that game. Moving over to the third-ranked team in the country in the Texas Longhorns, Ewers needs to be on his A game. Again, this Oklahoma defense is a much different animal than what the film put, or I guess than what the Sooners put on film last year, right? This is a pass rush that is starting to really find its rhythm. This is a secondary that's ball hawking. I kind of said some numbers there for this Oklahoma defense, right? You have 3 guys that have 2 interceptions. It's a team as a whole that has 14 passes defended on the year, 2 pick sixes as well. Ewers has got to be sharp, and Ewers has got to be smart with the decisions that he's making. It's a really, really good Oklahoma secondary. Moving over to the defensive side for Texas, the defensive front needs to be prepared for its biggest test yet. This is an offensive line that doesn't allow much wiggle room here when you're talking about the Sooners' offensive front. And Dillon Gabriel, if you think you have him down in the pocket, think again. Gabriel is crafty enough to be able to use his legs and escape and create outside of the pocket as well. So this is going to be a very interesting challenge for this Texas defensive front. But if you are the Texas Longhorns, really if you're the Oklahoma Sooners too, this key can apply for both. But I think it's more pertinent for the Texas Longhorns. Continue dominating third downs. The third down defense for the Longhorns has been fantastic. The third down offense will need to show up in a big way for the Longhorns here in this game. But it leads me into my prediction. Texas, as of right now, is the 6-point favorite. However, the FPI likes Oklahoma, and this is Red River we're talking about. I've seen predictions fly both ways. I think it's going to be a phenomenal game. I think it's going to be a little bit more high scoring than what a lot of people are going to expect out of this game, but I think Texas will start sharp. Again, this Oklahoma defense will settle in, and it will make a couple of plays. But I think Quinn Ewers is going to put on his hat here. He's going to light the world on fire with the way that he plays this game. And I think the Texas Longhorns will get the extra play, will get the momentum-shifting play. They will win Red River Rivalry. Wouldn't surprise me if Oklahoma comes out on top at all. Oklahoma is a very nice, very talented team, but Texas has not played down to the level of competition, which just means they're going to play up to the level of competition in this game. I got the Longhorns winning by 3. Let me know your predictions down in the comments section below. Noon game on ABC should be a lot of fun. And hey, remember to play hard but tailgate harder. See you guys in the next video. Goodbye.